Hey everyone, it is Bridgie from Bougie Texas Barbecue, and today I'm smoking a Wagyu brisket for the first time. So let's get started. If I said it wrong, I do apologize, but the first thing we're going to do is trim the uneven pieces on this brisket. I'm going to treat it just like a prime. Now, I know there's a big stigma about trimming your brisket too much. We're going to do a thin fat cap, and any uneven pieces we're going to just trim off. Now, you're not going to lose any money, I promise, especially with an expensive cut like this. We're going to make the fat into beef tallow, smoked beef tallow, and we're going to turn the trimmings into chop. The trimming video will be at a later date, but you don't lose out on any money. This has always been my style when it comes to briskets. If you have your own way of doing briskets, good for you. This is just the way I treat my briskets. I have been smoking for about 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years in December. So I've made plenty of rubbery, chewy briskets. So from my results and from my journey, the more even the brisket, the more even the cook. And a lot of people don't like to bite into a big fat cap. I sure don't. A lot of this fat doesn't render, and I do recommend adding beef tallow to your brisket during the resting process. So what it's going to do is basically reabsorb that tallow, and it's going to re-moisten your brisket, which is also another key point to make sure you do rest your brisket long enough so it has time to reabsorb all the moisture that it lost. And I prefer beef tallow versus beef broth or any other mixture because it keeps the brisket flavor. I noticed with beef broth, it kind of changes it to a roast beef flavor. And me personally, I love the taste of brisket and firewood. That's always my way to go. I don't eject. I don't add any other additives or solutions. I just prefer meat, fire, simple salt and pepper. Okay, enough of the boring stuff. As you can see, I am wrapping up this brisket and it's starting to form. I do cut off the edges because all those little edges that are on the side of the brisket, all they're gonna do is overcook. And again, you can always optimize your trimming, so don't be afraid to cut into the brisket. Don't overdo it, but just don't be afraid. And I'm about to start working on the flat side of the brisket. Again, when it comes to silver skin, go ahead and remove as much as you can. If there's a little bit on there, no big deal, but the more you remove, the better, just because we want a pretty bark. But it's not a big deal if you don't get it all off. I think a lot of people overcomplicate barbecue and smoking. If you don't get it all off, it's not the worst thing in the world. Some bark might fall off, but as long as most of it's off, you're perfectly fine. Don't overthink it, don't overdo it, just do what you can and get to smoking. Okay, so I'm just gonna wrap this trimming up. I'm just removing the last part of the fat, and as you can see, my brisket is pretty much kind of like an oval form. I have been the most successful when they're pretty much shaped like this. Okay, that's pretty much it. So now we're gonna go ahead and look at our trimmings. We're gonna separate our trimmings from, in one pan we're gonna have fat, in the other pan we're gonna have our brisket trimmings that you can turn into chop, burgers, pretty much anything you want. Okay, now we're gonna take this party outside while our smoker is heating up to 250 degrees. Simple salt and pepper, make sure your brisket is fully covered on both sides. And then you're gonna pat your seasonings into the brisket. Do not rub, pat them in. Now, I am not anywhere close to a pit master. I've been very successful with trial and error when it comes to brisket. If you want to just skip to the end and see my results, you definitely can. I don't like to claim myself as a pit master, but if this video finds you helpful or is helpful for you in the future, then that makes me happy. So I'm just here to help anyone on their brisket journey. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'm more than happy to answer them. I'm just tired of seeing false and or misleading information on YouTube. I'm not here to do that. I'm going to tell you exactly how I smoke my briskets, and I hope they help you, family, or anyone watching during their brisket journey. Okay, enough of the personal rant. Our smoker is up to temp, so we are going to go ahead and add our brisket. Now, if you have seen my videos on the Oklahoma Joe's YouTube page, where I'm placing my brisket right now is like the money spot. I'm also going to add my trimmings that have like a little vent at the end, just so they can get some smoke, and I'm going to add my beef tallow. I'm also adding some wood to protect from that little hot spot. Okay, 4 hours at 250 degrees undisturbed. After 4 hours, we're going to go ahead and pull off our beef fat that you can see has rendered. It is darker because I left it uncovered. If you prefer that light gold, go ahead and cover it when you put it on the smoker. I just personally prefer smoked beef tallow. Go ahead and set this to the side at room temperature because we are going to add it back onto our brisket when it's resting. And as you can see, our brisket is already starting to form that pretty bark. What I'm going to do right now is actually tilt my brisket. The reasons I tilt my briskets with a little bit of foil is, as you can see, it's forming a little bit of a, basically like a grease puddle. These little puddles are the death to bark. Again, completely optional, but that's just what I do. Now we're going to re-moisten our bark with a little bit of water, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and we're going to continue to smoke. Now this brisket completely shocked me. It was done in 7 hours. Which personally I don't mind because that means a longer rest. I always wrap my briskets in 2 pieces of the Oklahoma Joe's peach butcher paper and lots of beef tallow. And I'm going to let it rest in basically an insulated resting bag. My friends at the Meat Swaddle invented this beauty. So it works the same as an ice chest. The trick is to make sure you get all the air out and close it tightly. This is worth every dollar. Make sure you check them out and show them some love. And we are going to rest our brisket until it drops to an internal temp, a minimal internal temp of 150. But you can go as low as 140 degrees before slicing. Alright, so our brisket is ready to slice, and I can't wait to show y'all the results. This brisket completely shocked me from trim to cook. The marbling was insane and the bark came out beautiful. The camera does this brisket no justice. It feels like a cake. Is that weird? I don't know, but that's just how it feels, like a soft cake when I put pressure against it. And of course, before I slice, I do put all of that au jus back onto the brisket because, come on guys, we all know we eat with our eyes as well as our mouth. Alright, the moment of truth. Now, I didn't edit this part out because this is just a reminder to make sure that you sharpen your knives before slicing. I mean, come on guys, look at that. Quick close-up. If this is not a pretty sight, I don't know what is. Okay, I can't help myself. I need to cut into the flat because there was so much marbling. I need to see how juicy it is. And if you've had perfectly rendered brisket, you know when it does that little brisket flop while slicing, it came out perfect. Guys, did y'all see that? Close up. This is the flat of the brisket and it is so juicy. I'm very excited to see how the point came out. So just a couple slices and then I'm going to get into that point. Super jiggly. Alright, another reminder to sharpen your knives because I did not do it. The point is so jiggly, so juicy. I'm gonna slice it because it's bothering me a lot. Another quick close-up. And we're gonna get to slicing. And incoming the brisket flop. So freaking beautiful. Alright guys, well this pretty much wraps up my video. Thanks for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope it helps y'all out. If you have any questions, feel free to put them down below. Till next time guys, enjoy.